Laura Rice, and I'm here with you for this week's short childbirth education video. I'm going to be talking about things to pack in your labor bag. So I'm not talking so much about things that you'll need after the baby's born, clothes and things like that, but I'm going to talk about tools that you might be able to use in labor to have a better birth experience. So I'm a doula. I bring a labor bag to every birth. This is my little labor bag. As you can see, it says Informed Beginnings, and that's the childbirth education organization that I'm certified with. So if you've never heard of us, informedbeginnings.org is where you can learn more about us, or you can find us on Facebook as well. There are certain things I might bring to a birth that couples might not bring on their own, that I know a little bit more about how to use or things like that. But I have some basic tools that anybody can bring to help create a more peaceful, calm, relaxing labor environment. Also tools that you might use for comfort and other things. So let's talk about what they are right now. So first, let's start by talking about the birth environment. And one thing about the birth environment is it really should be on the quiet side, reducing stimulation, reducing distractions. And depending on where you're giving birth, you might find that you need something to help cancel out other noise in the room. So that could be white noise. You might use a fan, but one thing that a lot of people really like to do is just bring some music. So here's my little iPod and headphones. A lot of people like to just put their music on their phone and then maybe bring a Bluetooth speaker in order to listen to them. Some moms really like being able to use the earphones and kind of tuning out the world around them. That might work for you as well. But make sure that you've carefully selected the music that you're going to use in labor. Used correctly, music can actually be a pain relieving measure of its own, but you want to have practiced relaxing with the different types of music that you might want to use in labor. So try different styles of music, different rhythms, maybe some music without rhythm at all, and see what works for you. Next, with the environment, we like to have the birth environment be dimly lit, kind of dark. To help the oxytocin flow, you actually want melatonin, that sleepy time, nighttime hormone that enhances the effect of oxytocin, which is the labor hormone. So that peaceful, dark environment is important. Now, if you're giving birth at home, you might use a candle. In the hospital, you can't light a flame. They kind of frown upon that because of the fire codes. But what a lot of people like to do, whether at home or the hospital, is get one of these nifty little, let me turn it on here, nifty little LED lights. So this one even flickers, I think you can see that. And you can pop that right into a tea light holder or a votive holder. And it's actually pretty effective at creating a nice ambiance, give you a little bit of light in that dark or dim environment. So that's what I have to say about the environment right now. You also talk about some things that will help bring you comfort in labor. First of all, you might want some things to help with a back rub. One thing that a lot of moms like in labor is to have some kind of massage or back rub during contractions and even between contractions. And as the birth partner, it can actually sometimes get tiring on your arms, or you start to feel like you're running out of ways to help. So having a few different tools in your kit might help you out. So one might be your classic massage tool, like this little happy massager guy. You can use the little feet to rub on mom's back between contractions or during contractions, and you can even use the little round ball of this guy's head to offer a little more pressure on the sacrum during contractions if that's something that mom likes. You can also just use the heel of your hand. That's one of the best tools that you can possibly bring with you, is your own hands. But these little guys can be handy and nice, and they feel good, and it's relaxing. Another massage trick that you might not have thought about, a rolling pin. You can roll up and down either side of mom's spine, never roll on the spine, and go right from the shoulders down over the sacrum and the hips. Moms like that a lot. So rolling pin, simple massage trick. You might also want to bring some massage oil. If mom wants her back rubbed and she's got no gown on, or you get your hands up under the gown, which can feel a lot better than trying to massage over that fabric, or if mom wears her own clothes, which I highly recommend as well. But the friction between your hands and mom's back can be irritating after a while. So a nice grapeseed oil that's not heavily scented. As a matter of fact, I recommend just getting the plain massage oil that's not scented, because a lot of moms are more sensitive to fragrances in labor. Even if it's something that you normally love the smell of, you might not be able to stand it in labor. So something unscented that is a quality oil can just take the friction away and make the massage more comfortable for both of you. Another massage tool, tennis balls. You use these to rub on either side of mom's sacrum. A lot of moms really love that feeling, and a lot of those lower back aches is what can be difficult for mom to deal with. So using both hands and rubbing on either side of the sacrum or up and down on the sacrum can feel really good with just a pair of tennis balls. Another kind of ball that you might want to have with you in labor that doesn't really fit on my screen right now is the big birth ball, or like exercise ball. And many hospitals have those, so you can use one that's there, or if you have one that you really like, it's inflated to just the right size for you, you can bring it. It can be a little bit difficult to get it up to the labor room, but they do make slings for them now. But you might want to just check with your hospital and see if they have them there, and of course if you're home, you can just have it wherever you want it. But even if you're planning to use the ball at the hospital, that's provided by the hospital, you might want to have one at home to use before you go in, because it can be a really great place to get through your early labor and even the beginning of your active labor before it's time to go into the hospital. Next I want to talk about another type of comfort that can be helpful to a lot of moms, and that's heat and cold. So you might use a hot or cold pack like this. This can be put into the freezer. If cold is what's feeling good to mom, cold will numb obviously the pain sensation that she might be feeling, whereas heat will help with adding to relaxation, and that reduces pain as well. So this is a hot or cold pack and can be used in the microwave. It can be used in the freezer. You might even want an ice bag. Some moms really do like that, especially when you get hot and sweaty in labor. The cold can feel better than the heat, but for a lot of us, we also like that heat on our low backs. A little rice bag or a rice sock is also fantastic because it's very flexible. It holds the heat for a long time. You can also stick it in the freezer, so you might want to have a couple of these different things, one for the freezer, one for the microwave. This one's tiny, so it's handy for just like a low back pain. Another trick, to do is just literally get a sock, a clean tube sock, and fill it with rice and put a knot in the end. We don't call it rice sock for no reason. It works great, and you can make it as big as you need it to cover your lower back. I do recommend a funnel for getting that rice in there. It can be pretty messy. That you might want to have is some kind of guide or chart or quick reference that you can turn to in labor, because labor can go on for a while, and no matter how much you've read and what kind of a wonderful class you've taken, you're going to forget some of the stuff you've learned because you're tired and it's an intense situation, and you're just going to go, I don't know what else to do. So this is something I hand out in my class. It's just a handy dandy brochure where I fit anything I can think of that I think will be handy to have on hand in labor to know. So it goes through the different phases of labor, the emotions and the physical symptoms that mom might experience and what to expect. Just some reminders there, and of course what you can do for mom at each point there. And on the back we have second stage labor, and then a rundown of some of the most common comfort measures that are helpful, and even things to say to mom in labor, positive words. So something like that to just refresh your memory of things you might want to try, maybe picture or a chart of different positions in labor. If you don't have one from a childbirth class, you might just write up something for yourself of things that you want to remember in labor. And finally, something that I really recommend that everybody does is to bring along some easy to eat and easy to digest snacks. Now, don't bring them on a fancy plate, but like cheese and crackers, yogurt, fruit, nut butter, things like that that are quick and easy to grab between contractions to keep mom's blood sugar up. And of course we want to keep up her hydration as well. So something for her to drink out of with a straw. I don't actually recommend a glass ball jar, but that's what I had handy right here. And why do we say a straw is useful? Well, because whether mom's on hands and knees, or lying on her side, or in the tub, or squatting, wherever she is, she can get a sip of water if she has a straw. So she doesn't have to find a way to tip back and drink. You can just stick this straw in front of her face and she can get a drink. Sometimes mom can't keep down things like the cheese and crackers, or maybe it's so late in labor that she's just completely lost her appetite and she's not interested in chewing and dealing with everything involved in eating, but you still want to keep up her blood sugar and electrolytes and hydration. So what are some things to do? Well, she can still be sipping some water or electrolyte type of beverage, but something like honey can be a really good thing to use. And honey sticks like this, you can get them in grocery stores near the tea, or you can get them at farmers markets a lot of times, or honey stands. You just cut the end off or bite the end off and you have a quick little boost of energy. Or you could also use candy, suckers, things like that in a situation there too. So thanks for watching. Please comment with anything that you might have found in labor that's helpful, or any questions that you have for me. You're always welcome to ask in the comments. Thanks again, and I'll see you next week.